What's up, guys? This is Hyce, and welcome to Office Hours for November 2024. Look at that, we're actually doing it, and it's not quite exactly the end of the month for once. Good to see everybody here. As always, we're going to answer your railroad questions and otherwise that you may have, and do our best. I was going through and reading through many of them, and I was like, I have no idea on some of these this month. That said, you guys did give me a whole 22 pages on the last post, so know that we're not going to answer everybody's questions today, but we will take our due diligence getting through them. I am joined by a couple friends in Discord, and we will go say hi in just a second. But yes, it looks like we do have one top chat to kick things off from Jordan Freeman. Thank you, my friend. Do you have a turkey for tomorrow? I do. It's not my turkey, it's Leighton's turkey. I'm in charge with some of the preparations, and Leighton is in charge of some of them too. He just got it brined, I think, just a little bit ago. He bought the turkey, he's brining it. I'm going to put some stuff in it and on it and put it on a smoker, and we'll probably be hanging out, and we might even be live for a bit tomorrow as well as that's going on. We shall see. But yeah, we're very excited, so very much appreciate Leighton inviting me over. Jonathan Smith, not the one you know. Thank you for clarifying. If your Thanksgiving dinner were train parts, what would it look like? All I know is that everything would be slathered in valve oil like gravy. I don't know what else. Anyway, let's jump into Discord.
So, like...
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hyce, this is Guys.
We've got a Dusty and a Midland.
Yes.
Dusty is not thankful for check valves on this Thanksgiving.
No, I am not.
I was gonna say.
Check valves can suck it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I am thankful for smoked turkey. I just got done smoking a turkey, and
Ooh.
I sampled some, and it's... Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know how much of it's going to make it to the Springs tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to be smoking one tomorrow at Leighton's, so we'll see how it goes. I've never done a turkey before, so...
I hadn't either, and this one turned out good. I just used one of the rubs and butter and stuff for seasoning it, and...
It's not that hard.
Let it smoke for an hour on the smoke setting, and then turned it to 225 till it got to 100 degrees, and then 350 until it got to 160, and yeah, turned out great.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. So, anyways, from CPC Farms, Brakeman for 10 months. You want to make me a keychain? What design do I want? A Discord message. Okay, yeah, I'll check that. Gaming Doggo 66. If I could ride any train for my Thanksgiving dinner, what would it be? Why are we having bizarre Thanksgiving dinner questions? I don't understand this. It's fine. If I could ride any train for Thanksgiving dinner, I don't know who's got a good dining car service, I guess is the question then. I don't honestly know.
Well, somebody here in this chat actually has the experience with Amtrak's dining car.
That's true.
It is delicious.
I would imagine that Amtrak would actually do pretty good. When I rode back in the day, the meals are actually pretty good. Although, of course, that's changed as of late. I don't know where they're sitting at it on it these days. But
If it's traditional dining, I'd go for it. If it's not, then try to avoid it.
Fair enough. From Surly the Fourth, everyone getting ready with the traditional Thanksgiving lasagna. First question to kick us off. What would Turkey Day on the railroad looking like in the days of steam? The days of steam, I don't know. I would imagine that they would treat it pretty much like the modern day railroad does, where everyone's still at work, and there's still some shifts, smaller than usual because it's a holiday, but you still have to keep the railroad running. But those that are there are working a little bit lackadaisically. Is that how you say that? And that the railroad would be taking care of their folks in some way or another. We always bought all 3 shifts at the shop a dedicated Thanksgiving dinner. So we had all the trimmings and turkey and everything on Thanksgiving, and then we usually did ham for Christmas as well. So it sucked to be at work on the holidays, but some of the guys loved it. If they didn't have family in town to go hang out with, they could get basically double time for working the shift, and they'd end up doing 2 shifts. So they'd have double time for the one shift, triple time for the other shift, and they'd get 2 Thanksgiving dinners, basically. So it worked out for those who didn't have family right nearby. But for some people, it did end up being, well, I'm at work on the holiday. So, but that was always a time. But I imagine that was similar in the days of Steam. Just, they probably did things a little bit more in-house than we would have. Try the Fox of Corn. Hey, Hyce, happy Thanksgiving. You got to fire a coal locomotive last week, and you're thankful for that experience. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. And my goodness, that's awesome. Let's see. 84mer, don't you hate it until you have all these questions, until you have the opportunity to ask them, then you forget what you're going to ask. I feel that. That sounds like my brain. So
Never forget, happened to me.
Yes, it'll happen to you. Oh, goodness. I'm going to try my best here. Nigel Morrison, spelled like that, I think.
Nigel Morrison.
I hope. I've never seen it spelled that way, but I also don't know how to pronounce that. My apologies. It's my favorite diesel locomotive of all time. Okay, see, everyone's gotten educated that they can't ask favorite locomotives, so they're asking more niche favorite locomotive questions. I don't know if I have a favorite diesel though either. I don't know. F units are pretty cool. That's all I can think of. Shrug. Pick one of the Fs. Anyway. William Adams, good morning from Australia. Have fun on the stream while you do a traction motor change out. God help you. Hopefully you've got a good pit for it. Pacific Productions, hey, hi, I'm a bit late asking on this, but what are my thoughts on the BNSF derailment in Bennett, Nebraska from months ago when a teen set a switch, then filmed the derailment as it happened? Even big YouTubers like Critical and Oompaville, I think, covered it. We did talk about it on a stream right as it happened. It's one of those things where it's like, it's really disappointing to see people doing that kind of shit for views. Assuming that got proved, it was still kind of under, it hadn't been proved for sure at this point. Or when we last talked about it. If it's been proved for sure, like, don't be stupid, and don't put people in danger for fucking YouTube views, fuck you. Not to get too French all at once, but, here's also your reminder as crews to, make sure you're locking switches too. You never know if the kid had a switch lock or something, or stole something and then did that. But, always, do all the things that you can and then hope people aren't pieces of shit. Davis Fine Scale, smoke meat. You've probably reached your 30s mark. I know. I had my first smoker at, maybe when I was 25. Shrug. So yeah, this is actually going to be the first meat I'm smoking as a 30-year-old. I have yet.
You get into your 30s, you get really heavy into smoking meats or World War II history, or sometimes both.
True. That is the meme. Anyway, Sir Lee the Fourth idea, K37 kitchen Christmas dinner. I was hoping to try and think about doing Thanksgiving for this Thanksgiving on one of the engines, and then it just did not line up the way that I was hoping to. And then time is fake, and then oh fuck, Thanksgiving's tomorrow, and it's not happening. Christmas, either one of those would be such a big lift to do. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll get there someday. But I don't know. There will be a lot more K37 Kitchen coming because it got a sponsorship for like all of next year, which I'm very excited about. So, Nigel Morrison, who would be the worst railroad in American history? The memes from my friends makes me want to say the Diamond and Caldor, but I don't know why. I've still not learned the lore, but I think they were the one railroad that the ICC said, no, you're closed. Because they were unsafe, if I'm remembering it right.
You are remembering it correctly, and there's lore, and I'm going to let other people inform you of that lore at the appropriate time.
Perfect. So, probably that one. Logging railroads, not even once. Yeah. Ted, Brakeman for 5 months. Why did some Malleys have D valves only on the front? Because D valves do better at lower pressure and not superheated. I don't know if those Malleys that had the mix were superheated or not. But by the time that your steam gets to the second engine, it was a cheaper thing for them to just do the old school way to have a big dumb D valve. They tried that for the sake of that sort of thing, and then they had, piston valves on the high pressure where it mattered more, and then ultimately decided that maintaining two different sets of tooling and stuff is kind of stupid. So that's kind of why that went away. But that was definitely the big reason there was like, hey, we'll keep it this way. Molden House, no more food. You're making me hungry again. Tara the Foxicorn. What is my favorite streamlined locomotive? Come on. You should know this one to be true. It's the 4449. Okay, cool. Okay, and then one more here. A person 723. Hi, Hyce. Are there any more episodes of Ridiculous Railroads planned? Yes, we're going to talk about the Diamond and Caldor at some point. But I have it on my calendar to do an episode on the hilly one. What the hell is it called? It's escaping. Porterfield and Ellis, that one. The Porterfield and Ellis sometime this month. So that's on the plan. Nigel Morrison, welcome to the Brakeman. 84er, you spotted an albino Dalmatian yesterday. It was the least you could do. Interesting. Okay. We do have some pre-asked questions, of course, 22 pages of them. So we're going to go into some of those. I always like doing that because I do love the love and support, the top chats and all that stuff. But I also want folks who watch the channel to have a chance to ask things without having to pay for it, too. So we're going to start going into those. From John Doe. Here he is. For welding on any rail car, locomotive car, MOW, etc., who makes the best welds? Man-made, friction, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot, or Mother Nature, rust welds. In your line of work, ranching, volunteer, and hired on, no one makes welds better than Mother Nature. Goodness. I mean, actually, in terms of keeping stuff together, real welding and real stick welding is pretty necessary in most cases, though there are some really good Mother Nature welds that we come into in preservation. Those tend to need a lot more time, as it were. And do I have a list of things people are volunteering for Montezuma? I know I offered wood and many offered to haul her, but is there a proper list? There's not, because I'm bad at making lists. I'm not Santa Claus. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I see we've got plenty of top chats coming in, but we're going to keep going through a slew of these real quick. From Train Taiwan, why are most train cab interiors green? So I had to research this a little bit because this question comes up a lot, and the usual answer that I was giving was green's kind of a neutral, pleasant, simple, easy color. It makes you comfortable because it looks like the outside, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of got that psychological thing. But in digging in a little bit, there is a bit of in the more modern era, there was a specific rust prevention and cheapness factor to it, where zinc chromate got created, which is really good at preventing rust and preventing corrosion and mold and life forms and stuff existing on a surface. And so they would paint zinc chromate mixed with stuff onto the interiors of cabs, on steel cabs and that sort of thing. And it was a very kind of odd green color when it was all mixed up. And so that's why kind of post 1915s, 1920s, where a lot of that came from. But early on, shrug. So, and then 300-pound baseman also asked basically the same thing. Yucky green on the inside of cabs is great, and the cabooses were green too. Did they have a good deal on the P-Frog green? Again, it's that same thing there. So they're just trying to keep things set up that way. Okay, I'm going to get through this page. So we got four 4 more sets of questions. One from Vikey Ryan. 3 questions for you and whatever other Mines grads happen to be with. I don't think any other Mines grads are here right now, so I have to answer them. Would I recommend going to Mines as an out-of-state student? If you can afford it. It's a great school. It is very expensive out of state, but I enjoyed it, and thankfully I was entirely taken care of there. Do I take my whiskey clear? Yes. And am I a rambling wreck from Golden Tech and a hell of an engineer? According to the fight song, yes. Lego Knots, can we talk about the Santa Fe's silliness, aka the absolute hatred they had for articulated locomotives after the failure of their first batch, the Baldwin 210-2s, and the absolute units that were the 8-axle tenders that coincidentally weigh more than a K37 and tender combined? The Santa Fe had some big freaking tenders, and Johnny, your mic is being all sorts of stupid. Could you mute, please? Thank you. If we look, does the 2926 have one of those tenders?
The 2926 has a 8-axle tender under it.
Okay, yeah. So that would be one of the ones. The Santa Fe, they made some choices, but yeah. Here's some Lara photography pictures. An 8-axle tender because you need more tender, and these were some of the biggest and heaviest Northerns made. The 2900s. I still need to get down there and go see that thing. But yeah, the Santa Fe, they really didn't like articulateds, did they? I guess I've never realized that. But
I think anytime they tried them, they didn't work because they were too experimental. They weren't like conventional articulateds. They kept trying to make them
they did
bigger,
keep
better.
trying to make stupid shit like that. What was it? The 3000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 210-10-2.
This has come up on Office Hours before. It's come up on Cursed Trains as well. But yeah, 210-10-2 with a joint in the boiler where the front was not technically a boiler, I don't think. It was its own separate like reheater or something. Shrug.
I don't know that it was this one. I thought that was the 4462.
Oh.
That they did.
Maybe. Shrug. Yeah, if Jimmy would know.
Yeah.
Dusty's friend Jimmy from the COG knows too much about the Santa Fe, and we love him for it. But yeah, they goofy. All right, one more, and then we're going to go to the top chats here. From Nasir Masti, I think. Could I make a video on Jack the Baboon, who worked for the Cape Town Port Elizabeth Railway Service in the late 1880s as a signalman? He was assistant to double-leg amputee signalman James Wide, and never made a mistake. It sounds fascinating. That came up on an episode of the 3/4 show. So that would have been in season 3? Yeah, because it was at Leighton's house. So that was season 3 of the 3/4 show. We did talk about Jack the Signalman in an episode of 2 of These People Are Lying. So yeah, go check that out. Anyways, back to the top chats here. Nathaniel Lombardi. Hey, Hyce, would you... or do you know anyone who would like to sponsor your little sister's robotics team? I'm not sure. I mean, usually local sponsors are the easiest to get in terms of things. Are they like First Robotics? That stuff's fun. I used to do that when I was a kid.
Team 810.
I was 4682, so it was fun. But yeah, specifically, I mean, reach out to local businesses around your place. You're a robot, Johnny. You're literally just a robot.
The robot said no.
CJ Carthy 5. What is my favorite British steam locomotive? Yes, this is what I get for saying people get answers to specific favorite locomotive things. This is what I get. Favorite British... I don't know if I have a favorite British engine. Pull the string out of the back. There we go. My brain goes to the Flying Scotsman because of Microsoft Train Simulator. Duh. And it's the Flying Scotsman. Shrug. There's so many good other British engines out there, though, too. And all the stuff in Wales and things. I guess those would not... Are those technically British, or are they technically non-English? They're not English, but are they British? I don't know.
They're British, but not English, I think is how it works.
Shrug. The Welsh stuff is cool, so...
That meme just popped into my head.
We're whales. Yes. Anyway. Nickel Plate Road 777 gifting 10 memberships. Thank you, my friend. Turning the chat green. Patrick McNeely, you just looked up the Diamond in Caldor, and holy mackerel, that's wild. I won't spoil it though. Yeah. Everyone keeps telling me I need to hear the lore, and somehow I've missed out on the lore sessions because busy something. Anyway, also happy Thanksgiving to you, your friends, and your family. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you. Devil6060, I hope you're doing well, Hyce. Have you seen the screenshot of the missing train wheel on an ore car in the engine crew chat? No, but I remembered somebody, I guess maybe it was you, talking about that on the comments on the Little Engines Big Men video. And I'm scrolling up through Engine Crew and I'm seeing things that all of the things that I've seen. When was that? Oh, here it is. Oh, whack. Oh, weird.
You say Little Engines Big Men, all I can think of is every time I get in one of the new locomotives, I bang my head every time.
Okay. Well, somebody at Brett Weeble. Brett Weebled.
Yes.
Brett is always the one that vehemently opposes Lathrop's tale in this book about the floating flanger. And it is a tall tale. Like, it feels like this shouldn't be able to happen, particularly with a flanger, but wow. There it is. There is a modern day picture of a truck that has been yeeted and the car is still being supported by the couplers. That is fascinating. Thank you, Devil6060, for pointing that out. I missed that in the earlier scrolls. Or no, I didn't. I hearted it. Or maybe I just hearted it right now. Shrug. Life's strange. Youths, for rail grades in a curve, where is the grade calculated? Is it in the center between the two rails or the higher of the two rails?
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah, go ahead. Please do.
So typically it's, center of the rail, but in a curve, it's going to be the lower rail and then the inside rail. And then the upper rail is then elevated off of that.
Interesting. I was going to guess, and I was going to guess wrong. So thank you, Bandan, our newly celebrated professional engineer. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
He's a professional. I'm merely an amateur.
I got my license fine.
Nah, different kind of professional engineer, but yes. Also happy for you. Yeah, not the train drivey kind, the designy stampy kind.
Oh, he gets to design the stuff I drive now.
He likes to play with concrete and dirt, so.
I designed the stuff you run on.
Yes, yeah.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Yep. Rusty Rails Productions, fireman for 24 months. Look at you, Mr. Gold Amber Lamp. Oh, chat. Why you gotta do this to me?
Because it's YouTube chat.
It do this. I really need to do what... I really need to try what Corey Gibson told me that I should do. We're gonna try it real quick. I don't know if I can have 2 copies of this open. Let's see. Sorry, we're doing stream maintenance on stream. I can have 2 copies of this open. Huh. Here we go. So if we go
fan funding and then have one on
precisely that way it were. Oh my god! Now I see myself in triplicate. There's me there and me there and me there. Ah! That's funny.
There.
Okay. So anyway, now we can make sure we don't miss things. That helps a lot. Okay. Cool. All right. From Rusty Rails Productions, Fireman, 24 months. Hey, Hyce and crew, just a quick question. How many locomotives have burned all 3 types of fuel? Coal, wood, and oil? Like, over the road, I assume you mean, because anything that burned coal technically also burns wood on fire up. So, I don't know. Singular locomotives and not like a class of locomotives that they later... bought a new one and it was an oil burner instead. I don't know. I wouldn't be so certain that there were that many that did all 3.
I think Sumter Valley 19 and 20 did. They would have been wood on the Sumter, and then I think coal and then oil on the White Pass.
Yeah, I don't doubt that there are, a few dozen, but I wouldn't put the number more than a few dozen, I wouldn't think. Shrug.
Yeah.
84mer, what loco do I hope alt future adds in a US DLC? I mean, I really hope, very selfishly, that they put the prettiest standard gauge engine in the game that would be appropriately sized for the game as well. Which, of course, fight me on this if you want, but you'll lose. Is the Denver and Rio Grande Western T29. That's just good-looking 10-wheeler. Very good-looking.
I just agree with you, honestly.
They're so pretty. They're so pretty. So I hope they do that. And I suggested it to Old Future like a year ago, but they're probably a long way away from doing any American DLC stuff. But it'd be fun. The Rio Grande standard gauge stuff is not terribly well represented. So, but I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it would honestly probably be a more wise pick for them to pick literally anything USRA, whatever. So, anyway. A101A, what is my favorite SP steam locomotive that isn't a GS or a cab forward? Also 26 with more to come. Thank you. We're taking the specificity and increasing it. We had, what's your favorite train? And now what's your favorite X train? And now what's your favorite X train that's not Y train? The stacks on stacks. Oh my god. Probably the MT4 and 5, the Skyline casing. Those are pretty bitchin'. I've got a model of one over there somewhere in a thing that I need to play with at some point. Pacific Productions. Specific, huh? Oh god. What have I done to myself? What is my favorite Japanese steam locomotive? Yours is the C62, also happy Giant Turkey Day. I'm not nearly familiar enough with Japanese steam to be able to pick. So, shrug. Yeah, I don't have one. And thank you. Happy Giant Turkey Day to you too. A person 723, have I seen the completely squashed diesels if you type Penn Central in Discord search? No, I haven't. But that sounds the fact that it's just search for Penn Central and you get squished diesel.
Oh lord.
Holy shit! Oh my god. Yes, those are in fact entirely squished.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of them is just frame.
It is frame and fuel tank. And then there once was a diesel here, and then hundreds of tons came rolling and did the smoosh.
That is no longer a diesel.
It
that
looks
is
like a
pancake.
drawbridge was up
I think that
and it
dynamic
slammed into the counterweight.
Yeah.
Actually, Mark, could I add one thing to that?
Mm-hmm.
That frame you're seeing is actually the trailing unit.
Oh.
The lead unit's in the water.
The NTSB reports somewhere around there where those pictures were.
So all I have to say about this part of it, where we've got the rest of the trailing unit and then cars piled in on it, and hey, look, there's the turbo and the engine. Oh my god. So the block's right there. The cab is, oh Jesus Christ. The alt is down there. All I have to say about this is that MikeTyson.exe stopped responding when saying now Kith. And it just kept saying, now Kith, now Kith, now Kith. So, yeah. Jesus Christ. Oops. Anyway. Thank you, Person723. Nathaniel Lombardi, their Facebook is Crusader Robotics. Oh my goodness. Crusader Robotics Team 8421. 8421. They've added a lot to that program since I was in it. Checks notes a long time ago. We were a new team, 4682. That year, it was our first year. So, wow, 8421. It's cool. Mossy Mug, you tried the Coors. It ain't bad at all. Yeah. Yeah. Coors is Coors. It is just like This is a delightful beer. It's not a froofy fancy beer. It's not like a super flavored whatever beer. As Leighton would say it, it's our go-to mediocre light and domestic. We love Coors. Anyway, Nazu, happy Thanksgiving / trying to not talk politics day. It's fine. Everyone's family. That's what happens, and we're here for choo-choos today. Malden House. My thoughts on the 587 Great Train Robbery movie. I haven't seen it, so I should watch it. Dear Mess Cannon. Hey Hyce, I ordered one of the little engineer hats from the store for your dog, thinking it would fit, but her head's just a little too big. Would I ever consider making bigger sizes of those hats? We'll have to talk to Chris LaRose on that. We just got another run of 100 of them made in the same size for cats. I don't know if he's got more scale blueprints, because it is a properly scaled actual engineer's hat, and I assume he would be able to make a slightly bigger one, but we'll have to look into it. I'll chat with Chris and see what we can do. Lieutenant Space Orange, welcome to the Engineers. Thank you so much. It's channel members like yourself that make this possible. Yes. Pika Blob, you asked this in the pre-asked questions, and you're super chatting it. That's very kind, my friend. In the Polar Express, they throw the automatic brake handle to the left to apply the brakes. Is that an animation error, or do some of them go that way? For a United States locomotive, that is an animation error. I think there are some European valves that are opposite what we do. But for a nickel plate Burke looking thing, I know it's not a nickel plate, it's pure Marquette, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, American, whoever, foundry, coalition of people that design good choo-choo, Berkshire, that Jason Subchinski said. Yeah, it should go the other way. But it's Polar Express. We'll be talking about it. I have 2 silly Polar Express videos planned, one of which necessitates me getting a battery wired up for my C19 properly so that I can try and run it on a lake. But anyway.
I have questions.
Oh, Lord, you're doing that? What?
Well, you could do a scaled test. You could see if the counterweights make an effect, right? Could you make it steer by changing direction? Because theoretically, with the 90-degree offset, it might have enough that if you did forward backwards, if you didn't go backwards long enough to change your momentum, you might be able to countersteer. So I want to prove it with a model. Shrug. It's a dumb idea.
You're doing Mythbusters on tank steering, but stupid.
Yes, it's a very stupid idea, but here we are. Hi, Goose.
What, I'm a very stupid idea? Yeah.
Well, yes, but no. But yes. Anyway. Charles, Aaron, Mallet joining the Top Cat Chew. Since I'm going to the Denver area next year, what are the short lists of must-sees / must-dos for people visiting? There's all kinds of fun things to do in Denver. All sorts of neat stuff around here. Obviously, the Colorado Railroad Museum. Duh, for your train people. Forney Museum's fun if you haven't seen the big boy.
Or if you like cars.
Or if you like cars. They got lots of cool car stuff there. Goodness. Meow Wolf is fun if you're into artsy things. We have a Meow Wolf installation here, which is very fun to spend a couple hours at.
Wings Over the Rockies.
Wings Over the Rockies for the Plain Boys. There's probably more stuff off the top of my head, but that's a short list. So, you're more than welcome to DM me, and I could get you a list of restaurants and stuff and things and all that too. So, or email or whatever. 84ers, since you can't settle on a favorite loco, can I settle on a least favorite? No. By the way, ever thought of doing a stream where we send memes and you react? That is a great way for me to get canceled so fucking fast. That is just a bad fucking idea.
Like giving the general public the power to put memes on your channel is
yeah, we would need to have like several members.
There would have to be
crew, like in a panel.
There would have to be a big filter between what was submitted and what gets put up on the stream. Shrug. We'll keep that possibly in mind eventually, maybe. But anyway. Chris Chili 1947 heard a local museum touted their 1910s locomotive's power air reverser as the modern safety feature to keep the Johnson bar from swinging back and killing the engineer. Why did it take so long to adopt this? Because the locomotive in good maintenance condition is not in danger of that ever happening. If your slide valves and your valve gear is absolutely fucked, the bar can be kind of violent when it wants to jump out. But if you keep the latch up to date and happy, even a bar that wants to jump won't jump out typically. It's more of an issue on a larger locomotive when the parts get so big that the forces involved require extra leverage, which is where that came from.
Even then, if a bar would jump, it would jump to the extreme of the travel that it's already in. It's not gonna, like, if you're halfway forward
No.
and the bar lets go.
No, Goose. It'll do both. I've seen it do both.
Oh.
Yeah.
That said, I don't doubt that a Johnson bar has killed someone in a violent swing kind of thing, but if you keep all of the rest of your shit in good condition, you run into that a lot less. So, shrug. That's probably why.
Dragonet power reverse wasn't even invented until 1909. That was the first one that actually worked.
Right. And Dusty, did you have something to add to that?
We've seen it. 20 almost throw one of our engineers out the front door.
Yeah, we've seen that, and really then I've seen poor Colonel Frank get stuck centered up in 346 and had it in the corner and went to touch the reverser while he had the throttle open still, and I was yelling, no, and he unclamped the reverser, and she said, forward corner, how about reverse corner? And then everyone got an extra 300 feet added onto their train ride in the wrong direction. And that was not great. So, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so is it a safety thing? Partially, but if you have good maintenance practices and good operational practices, not necessary on smaller locomotives. It was really a size of locomotive thing that brought it around. If it was truly a safety thing, none of the other engines would be running around with Johnson bars, and I would say more engines that are preserved operational in the States have a Johnson bar than have a power reverse, if I had to guess. So, anyway. Sean J. Animations, apparently Alt Future is already working on the US DLC, I think, which is rather exciting. That is exciting. Cool. Also, hi Mark. Hey Sean. Jordan Freeman, some of the new double Fairleys at the Festiniog had burned wood for starting up, oil a few decades ago, and coal recently. Huh. Well, there you go. Add to the list. CJ Carthy, fireman for 12 months. New specific. What is my favorite new build steam locomotive? I don't know that many of them that exist. I would probably pick one of the Clokey 440s, though, because those things are fucking neat. I love seeing an old school 440. Oh, it's not done. It doesn't count.
It's not done.
It'll be cool when it's done, but...
Were you there the other day, Tyler, or no?
What other day?
Oh, no, you weren't. I saw pictures recently.
Yeah.
Owner was there and showed some pictures.
Oh, no, I heard about that from, I think, either you or Jeff, that there are new pictures, but I was not there the day that he was at the museum.
He thinks it's about 85% done.
Yeah. Hopefully with not 85% to go. But anyway. The last pictures I saw of it looks very locomotive shaped, so I would bet that, so... Let's see. Okay, Cincy Railfan Productions. Hey, Hyce, what diesel locomotive would I like to see in Railroader? And we need more kicking. We can do more kicking. What diesel would I like to see?
Kicking?
What diesel would I like to see in Railroader? Oh, PA would be dope. But, I don't know. I don't have a specific need for diesel. I mean, I prefer the steam engine stuff, so...
Yeah.
You know. We only have the one. We have the Tunner, which is very fun. Lieutenant Space Orange, why do you, among others, despise Southern Valve Gear? I don't despise it. I'm just confused by it. Is it just inefficient, or is there not more to why so many people think it's not good? I've heard it has more hammer blow with what the big eccentric-esque rod does, but I can't prove that. I don't know if that's actually true. And I also I don't despise it. I just look at it and go, this is a dynamics problem, and it's very hard to understand how it works, and I don't like that. So
the easiest way to understand Southern is to stare at it for a very, very long time.
And I still don't understand it, so.
Just watch it do the thing.
Anyway. Blues Crew gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, Blues Crew. Good to see you. Mole Man, fireman for 3 months. Good evening, Hyce. Have I ever taken a look at Bach Lumber Company #1? It's a Baldwin 044T Forney. Currently lives at the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum. I have not.
Silly Choo-Choo hauled an auto rack.
Oh, is that's the one that hauled the auto rack?
The one that did
yes,
that.
okay, I have seen that then. And that is one of my favorite video clips of preservation railroading. An 044T Forney pulling an 85-foot modern tri-level car that's bigger than it.
I had multiple friends outside railroading send me that clip. It's so fucking funny.
Just being like, what dis? Very good. Yeah. Josh M, what's my favorite Japanese steam locomotive? We've asked this already, and I don't know. Thank you. Trainspotter454, happy Thanksgiving, Hyce. I just wanted to say thanks for the amazing content you put out and for fostering an opening and welcoming community. Thank you, my friend. The community is what makes this so wonderful, and so I'm always thankful for you guys. I said a little bit about it in the filmed episode I did for Derail Valley tomorrow, which I'll be posting when we're off the stream sometime later tonight, so that members can watch that in advance, but it'll be out tomorrow otherwise for everyone. But I said a fair bit in there, but I'm blessed every day that this is my job and I get to do this, and it means that I get to work on choo-choos and choo-choo video games and all the stuff, and the community is just fantastic. So I'm very thankful for you guys every single day. So thank you so
y'all
much.
are fucking nerds.
Also that,
Nerds.
but that also includes all of us. So Golden State Gearhead, watched your Monday live stream, and I share the same love-hate relationship with SolidWorks while designing parts for your university's FSAE team. I believe that. I hated designing the roll cage for the Mini Baja that I did back in when I was in university as well. I always saw the Formula guys and was like, they get to go faster than us. But I did the Mini Baja. So anyway. CJN142. Hi, Casey. On the note of what's your incredibly specific, what's your favorite engine? Zim and I want to know what your favorite engine at the Valley is. Okay, well now I need to. I don't know enough about all three of them. You have 40. You have 142. Is that one of your engines numbers?
3025. It's the sister.
3025.
It's the Chinese engine.
That's the Chinese engine, and then what's the third one?
97. It's the only Connie.
Okay. Do you have pictures of these choo-choos?
Oh god, you're asking a lot now for my shitpost. Let me find those.
Yeah, I'm like, honest to God, I've seen pictures of 40 before for sure, and I'm sure I've seen pictures of 3025, but I cannot pick a favorite between these three off the top of my head because I cannot pull up a mental picture of them. Get me 3 pictures in MOW VC text, and then we will do a live ranking. A live ranking of your choo-choos. Anyway. Virgo Drewski is 346 deckless. Yes, it's true. This engine has no deck. Hi, I'm funny.
Amazing.
Anyway, Brill Bus Boot Camp. Oh my god. Here we go. Conductor for 22 months. Hi, Hyce! Exclamation point, exclamation point, 1! Exclamation point. What's my favorite streetcar? Favorite trolley? LRV? Interurban? Tram? My entire self-worth depends on the validating my specific nerdism. Okay. Unfortunately, Brill, as much as we've talked about this, streetcar versus trolley versus tram, I don't know if I could do. Favorite LRV? Light rail vehicle? I only really dealt with 2 different types. The Siemens S70s that we got at Sound Transit were a lot cooler than the Kinkashario cars we had, but Siemens was such bullshit about some of the shit in getting those cars acquired that I don't know if I could pick them as a favorite, but they're pretty cool. Shrug.
Just say New Jersey Transit 6 or Johnstown 355. You'll be right.
That is true. The PCC cars are pretty fucking cool. That was neat. And
Good answer.
yeah, so shrug.
I feel validated. Thank you.
Okay, we validated Brill. That's good.
And in VC text.
Okay, here we go. I gotta pull these up here. Can I just say 97 from the get-go? Just kidding. It's a good-looking engine.
That is literally everyone's favorite.
Is it really? It's funny.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart to run.
I have not pulled up the other two pictures yet.
3025's goofy looking.
Well, it is Chinese.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Chinese or Japanese?
Chinese.
Okay.
I thought the SYs were Japanese.
Nope.
No, Chinese. In a very roundabout way, they're an export Alco design.
I like 40.
So we have 40. 40's the mic, yes.
Yeah, that's the logging mic.
It's a nice looking engine. And then we have 3025. It honestly doesn't look that weird. Because, yeah. But it does have some weirdness to it.
I was gonna say, the lettering on the tender immediately loses points.
Well, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then 97. 97's a great looking engine.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, isn't 40 pretty much a K36, K37, but bigger?
It's a K20. It's a K36, but it's a K28.
That's what I walk in on.
You could have walked in on the New Haven, so.
Oh, come on. Get new material.
I don't know. Honestly, all three of them are nice looking engines. I like choo-choos. What can I say?
If I had to pick, I'd say 40.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'd say 40 as well. You just need to put a visor on that headlight.
Yeah, a visored headlight would be better.
Yeah.
And that goes across the board.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think 3025.
Is 3025 the one with the Trophimoffs?
It is.
3025 is...
That's pretty...
It's the Trophimoff.
That's pretty bitchin', though.
It's the grapevine throttle, so it's got the fun throttle on the ceiling that you can go out to the nut.
That's too much fun. I'm trying not to giggle here.
It also has an all-weather cab, I'm pretty sure, right?
No, we got rid of it on that one. 142 still has it.
It has a fake tender. Well, chunk of tender.
No, it's a real tender.
Well, chunk of fake tender. Faked tender.
I think
there's the chunk that's just, you know, cosmetic. You can see it in that picture towards the back.
Where they filled in the slope.
Yeah, because it's a slope back.
Oh.
I see it.
Where did they score? Where is the paint different?
That is...
I can see it in that picture.
That is fucking hilarious.
The way I think about it is this engine was permanently disfigured by the fire into a New Haven engine, so that's the excuse that I go with mentally.
I don't know. You've got a good trio of choo-choos.
I think 40 would look good with a pair of radial class lamps on it.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, Casey. Yeah,
I think they all would.
Anyway. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, because here I still am. Anyway.
Just say 97. It's everyone's favorite.
It is objectively
Well, no, then we've got to be different. I'd go with 40. I like a good logging mic.
I don't pick
I like
favorites.
to get over the air pump without having to step around it, unlike 97.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Solaris! Hey guys, did y'all see the picture of the caboose on a stick in Jackson, Tennessee that's at the Casey Jones Railroad right now? Railroad Museum. Yes, we did see the caboose on the stick. It's very silly.
On a stick.
It's a caboose, on a stick.
I'm pretty sure he's always on a stick, but...
Wow.
Mainline through the Rockies, spreading the good word of the standard gauge for 2 years now. As you should. Thank you, my friend. Pie Twins, conductor, 8 months. What is the one piece of equipment at the Colorado Railroad Museum you'd like to restore to operating condition?
683, 5401.
191.
Those are the reasonable answers. The unreasonable answer is 5629.
Well, that one too.
Well, that one too. The unreasonable answer is Pikes Peak 1.
No, that's possible. That would be fun.
Where would you run it?
You just gotta lay some track
South
up the
Table,
hill.
or North Table, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a hill.
We've got rack rail. We got some when we got those pieces from the cog.
We could restore the cog track and run it on it.
Run it up south.
Run it up North Table. Yeah.
Would that make us the third or the fourth cog railroad in America?
On a technicality, the third running, because one of them doesn't run anymore.
Yeah.
And I was trained as a brakeman on 4.
There you go.
So
neat.
I'd rather run 9 or 7 than 1 though, because 1 is nasty. From what I've seen.
Yeah.
Vauclin Compound would be a lot of fun.
It would be neat.
It would.
But yeah. Oh my god. From 80 former Squint's Eyes. Favorite loco with an even road number.
Oh god.
What's your favorite loco with a driver's side sub 60 inch?
We can't pick those because
I'm being trolled at this point. It's fine.
Yes.
It's just getting more and more specific.
See, if we do a favorite locomotive with an odd road number, I could say 491. But anyway, even road number I can't pick. They'd get mad. Anyway, and I don't have one. But anyways. Smiddle, have I ever been to the North Carolina Transportation Museum? I have. And it was when the J was there back in 2020 or 2021. It's cool. Tyler O'Donnell Paccione. Shorten your name.
Boppity boppity.
Boppity boopity boopity boppity. Hey, what's your favorite Mega Dungeon?
Did you get that name from your mother's side?
Yes.
Which one?
That's
Yes.
exactly why the joke is a joke.
Oh, damn it was a joke.
Yep. Fireman for 28 months. Thank you, Goose. Favorite meter gauge engine? Shrug. There's a lot of cool meter gauge things.
There's so many cool ones, and most of them run in Brazil.
That's true. Are the 482s on the meter gauge?
There were some 482s that ran on meter gauge, but I think the one you're specifically thinking of was on 3-foot in Colombia.
Still dope. Anyway.
Still
Nathaniel
dope as
Lombardi.
hell.
Do I have a favorite steam tram? No. Virgo Drewski, you're the 1%. Your favorite's 3025 because you ran her. That's fair. Vibe.
To go back to Nathaniel's question, it's the one with the boiler. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Steam Ton 122, 346 has no deck. Why do you think they call her grandma and not grandpa? Oh, limes. You have to say deck with an Australian accent if you're going to say it that way, though. 346 is no dick. Anyway. Chris Chili, 1947. The locomotive with power reverse in question was a logging locomotive, so definitely tired by the end of her life. That would do it. So, we're almost caught up here, and then we can go to pre-asked questions. James Edwards, fireman for 24 months. You just crossed over 2 years, although your first month was gifted all of the emojis. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciate your support. Burrito the Noodle Dragon, what about the Lightspeed Rescue Train? What about it? What about buttered sausage?
Damn it! Brain cell.
What are frogs? What are frogs? Jetnik, can someone please explain to me what the deal with the New Haven Bash is all about? Why do we have to do this every stream? I feel like we've done this every stream. Bad Railroad, bad, and it makes Jersey mad. Is about as short as we can make that, I think.
Go back and watch literally any other VOD if you want an answer to that.
Isn't there a WTYP on it? Go watch that, if there is.
Probably. I don't know. Jersey Central 833. What is the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
African or European?
I don't know that.
Yes. Tom Go, 36, fireman, 26 months. Hi, Mark. Do I know anything about the German narrow gauge? And what is my opinion on the... I cannot pronounce that. Jake, how do you pronounce that? It's German.
Zexica.
Zexica? What?
What?
German is fake. I'm sorry.
Schmetterling. Krankenwagen.
Anyway, an 0440T Mally on 750 mil. That's a vibe. Saxon
So,
K4.
I know-
Wait, are those the Hearts engines? The like non 210-2s they have? Is that what that is?
If
I
you want a
don't
better
know.
pronunciation, you can use the Google Translate.
I know of...
He's talking about this thing. That opposed battle pistons. That's fun. What what a neat thing.
I know of one German 0440 Mallet, and it's on 2-foot gauge.
I'm not terribly familiar with German narrow gauge, honestly. But
Well,
that's a cool
the one
engine.
that I'm familiar with runs here in Colorado.
Oh, yes. Yes. Cripple Creek stuff. Jacob Soares. Hi, do you like the human train? I do. I do like the human train.
I don't believe it. I don't buy it.
Oh.
You do. I utterly despise them.
Depends on the day. I think
Oh,
Dusty's got his fair share of hating steam engines this week, I think. I started getting I'm working on 20 last night, helping train folks for Pull Express, and I just start getting these blocks of text that take up my whole screen on my cell phone from Dusty. He's not even there. It was fine.
There may have been some whiskey and some beer involved in that.
Some feelings about locomotives needed to get out, and they did. And that was good. Person 723, what's my favorite gas or diesel engine not a locomotive? So if we're favorite internal combustion engine that's not in a locomotive, basically, we're really getting silly specific.
Granular, yeah.
I think I am legally required to say the Pontiac 400 because it's what I have. But do I know why? No. Anyway. Noah Bloom Brakeman, 9 months. What is my favorite Lima product or engine? The 4449. Virgo Drewski. Have I ever seen Big One from the Galaxy Railways? Yes, many moons ago. Drake the Rail Fan. What's my favorite engine that has snifters? I can't pick because all three of them have them. Jordan Freeman. My favorite meter gauge is the Hartz narrow gauge 210-2Ts in Germany. LGB has some models of them. A 210-2T?
Have you never seen the Hearts?
I've probably seen those.
They are one of the coolest railroads out there. Narrow gauge railroads out there. It is 210-2Ts running up a mountain at tonnage.
Yes, I've seen these.
In like daily service.
Yeah.
Did one of those get frozen solid a couple years ago?
2 of those got frozen solid a couple years ago.
Fun times.
Two got snowed in.
Oh, right, right.
The,
Okay,
the
no,
top,
that makes
top
sense.
of the tallest mountain in Germany or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are kind of baller.
That railroad is so cool.
Brick shit houses, but
Is that an Alesco?
Yeah.
Yes,
They-
it
they
is.
Our current CMO learned at the Hearts before he moved back to America.
Feedwater heat
Vertingen Road-
on a tank engine is a mood.
Uh-huh.
It's a very good
Vertingen
mood.
Road has like
Well,
10 of
hold
those
on.
hot at a time.
How do you need feed water heat on a tank engine when your water bunker is right up against the boiler?
Efficiency? I don't know.
Goose, what temperature
much
do you think
hotter
the
can-
feed water heat makes the feed water?
I don't know. I haven't worked with feed water heat.
Spoilers,
Say, like-
it's above boiling.
Oh, I thought it would be below boiling still.
No. Did you watch my video with Jason? No, you didn't. Thanks, Goose.
Well-
it heats the water to the temperature of your back pressure.
Oh.
So, a couple,
Yeah,
10,
see-
15, 30 degrees above boiling.
Life's been busy and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch an hour-long video.
Excuses.
Fair. But also, anyway. Let's see. Yes, we talked about those. Patrick McNeely, what's my favorite high rail vehicle? Mine is the 56 Pontiac Fairmont from the Nevada Railway. That is fun. I I have one that makes me giggle the most. I don't know if it technically should be a favorite, but I do love this one that is at a museum in Croatia because it just screams old country. Comrade, we take station wagon, we put on train wheels, and we inspect.
Yeah.
It's
you
just
take ladder, you put it on train.
It's just vibe, and we put little rock guards. We see Americans do this with Fairmont car. We do this for ours, and make sure the paint is. Mwah.
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
I love this thing. It's super dope.
I don't know
And
what's
it's
more
slow,
hilarious.
So it would be perfect for Derail Valley.
Oh, it would.
Slow it on. Somebody page slow it on. Yeah, there's all kinds of neat stuff. I was sad that this museum was closed the second time that I went to Croatia.
They could make My Summer rail car.
Big blue mastodon. Come on. It's fun stuff.
I like the high rail golf carts that, not the DNS, but the Tall Timbers has.
There's also this terrifying motorcycle, rail cycle thing.
Oh, wait, hold on. I see
with the pea-sized drivers.
I saw the diesel hydraulic engine from Derail Valley.
I would.
Oh goodness, they did have one in there, didn't they?
Yeah,
Oh, very similar.
What the fuck is that?
That's
Is that a high
Maryland-
rail Duesenberg?
That's a Maryland and Pennsylvania 101.
That's a vibe.
That's a Buick.
Oh, so it's motor.
It's actually called the Buick Railmobile.
What?
The fenders don't get extended to cover both lead wheels. 0 points.
Yeah.
No, minus 1 point for aesthetics, plus 2 points for ballsiness.
Does it have the hubcap on the back still?
It looks like it does.
Yeah, it does.
That adds to the aesthetics.
That adds 5 horsepower right there.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I've got another weird.
I feel like it's the old German, like, 6-wheeled cars that, you know,
No, it's the fucking
mustache
Tyrrell
people.
P34.
It's the
It's the 6-wheeled F1 car. Literally, it's the 6-wheeled F1 car.
The car's so good
I'm
they banned
sorry.
it. Yes.
There was a 6-wheeled F1 car?
Yep. It's an MOW and it's also on stream.
What?
They literally the rules became because of this because it was so good.
No, it wasn't this one. You're thinking of the fan car.
Oh.
No,
okay.
it was this one too. It was both.
It was both, yeah.
Also, I will say
I feel like the ultimate honor in any sport is to get a rule made in your honor.
Yeah.
Something about Ferrari fucking with fuel pumps.
Oh my god, that is. Yeah. What? The fuel pump samples at 1,000 hertz? Okay, we'll just put more fuel in when it's not sampling, and the right amount in when it is.
If you haven't heard, this is one of the most recent ways someone's cheated
Wait,
in Formula One.
they
They literally sampled the baud rate of the FIA's sensor that determined how much fuel was being put in the engine, and made sure that the flow rate was consistent when it was being measured at like 1,000 hertz, and when the sensor wasn't taking a measurement. So we're talking itty bitty chunks of a second here. They made the fuel pump dump full fuel into the engine so they could get way more fuel than anybody else, because the regulation was maximum fuel flow rate. They cheated so hard. They cheated so hard. It's impressive.
Look, if you go to the effort of phasing your fuel pump 180 degrees out of phase with a sensor, holy shit, you deserve that.
Yeah, that is some crazy crap. So anyway, let me get through a couple more top chats here so that we can get to another bit of the pre-asked questions, because I want to get through what folks asked as well. A person 723, what do I think about the 0440 sugarcane Malleys? They're neat. They're cool engines. The sugarcane stuff's all fun. 3900 class, conductor for 26 months. The water in on your tank mallets doesn't get that hot. Some mornings after sitting, it can get warm, but it's usually not too bad for the injectors to pick up. Yeah, insulation, Goose. That's how that works.
Well, yeah.
Soccer gaming, 45. Fireman for 15 months. Instead of picking 490, 120, or 346 as your favorite and make one happy and the other angry, pick a different logo, and then make them all equally angry at you at the same time. That's called
how you die.
choosing violence. Okay, so I have to tell a story from last night at Polar, and I know Miles watches the channel, and I hope he won't be mad that I'm going to share this, but we saw the personality of the steam locomotive in action, and Miles learned it in real time, and it's too hilarious not to share in this moment while we're thinking of the engines being angry. I will start by saying Miles this is his first time firing at night. It might have been his first time firing 20. He's very new to firing in general, at the very least. He's firing the second trip, and he did excellently. Like, I was impressed by how well he did. And then he got a little excited and comfortable with where he was at. And so on the third trip, we're going to leave the station, and he flips the fireman's cab seat up and sits down to leave the station to go start the trip. And I was like, oh boy, you're asking for it now. And Jeff's like, what? And I'm like, he flipped his seat up. And Jeff goes, oh. And then the pressure disappeared because 20 was like, you think you can sit? How about no? So they do that. You don't do the things that make the choo-choos more mad than they already are.
Oh yeah. So
man, I should have stayed.
Because I know Miles watches, to make him feel better, I have had a similar story where it was the last year firing Polar, and I was firing 91, and I was, having trouble with it. I was still trying to figure out how to do right-handed, and I started to have the thought, maybe I like 20 better. And then within seconds, I opened the door and she backdrafted at me. And I immediately went, nope, sorry.
They're mind readers, okay? You don't do that. Yeah, and I don't mean to pick on Miles exclusively either. Every single person, including me, has had that exact moment while learning to fire. That is just how it works. Yeah.
I made Mark put 20 in the corner last year.
It's
true. Made him Railroads Online it. We've all done it.
Very true. Throttle all the way open on the feed valve. It goes no further. There it is. And we're going through the boarding area, and it's slowing down. Click, 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 click-a-tick. I'm all the way in the I'm giving it all she's got. I'm literally Railroads Onlining it over here. 100, 100. You cannot lose any more pressure. That was funny.
No, that was really funny.
But I can now say that I've run an engine truly wide open. It was at 66% normal boiler pressure, but it was wide open.
It happens to everyone.
It does.
Mm-hmm. I was literally there about a year ago.
Yep.
Which is actually was his first time firing ever, sometime around it would have been sometime this summer, so he's about at the same level I was when I had 100.
he was pretty fresh, and he did excellently on the second trip, so yeah. Anyway,
you're doing good. You're about where I was same time in progression.
Walker Colt, thanks for the shout out for the Ma and Pa Inspection Car 101 / the Buick you've seen from the B&O. It was the funeral car for the Harkins Funeral Home in Delta, Pennsylvania. How neat. Huh. Daily B&W Projections. What's my favorite prime mover engine? Nerd Glasses. This is the theme of the stream. Favorite with context. The EMD 645. I'm not going to pick a sub-variant because I don't know them that well. Daniel McKee, engineer for 18 months. Evening, mate. I've been on a painted loco research kick. What's your take on steam locomotives painted in other colors than black, southern green, British blue, etc.? They're neat, but they're hard to keep clean if they burn coal. So,
hi, we have one of those.
Yeah, I have a choo-choo that's painted green. So it's not usually green. It's usually coal colored. So yeah, but they're cool when they can look that way. Hunter Gottschall, do I know what BNSF stands for? Well, there's the real answer, and then there's the real answer and the real answer. The real answer is the Big Nasty Santa Fucker for the holidays. And then there's Better Not Start a Family, which is if you work there. And then Burlington Northern Santa Fe if you're a foamer. Lo-fi camping guy, what's my favorite steam-powered ship or boat? I don't know enough steamships to say anything really, other than I'm just gonna say the
Virginia
Titanic.
V.
Because
Virginia V is a good one.
I have several, and it's based on where it is, what era,
Well, you're
I have
boat
several
boy.
answers to that. Yeah.
Just saying Olympic is better than Titanic.
Correct.
Oh, fair enough.
Stadt Luzern in Switzerland is one of my favorite, inland steamships. But Natchez is my favorite riverboat. It has a place in my heart because,
Natchez is neat. I've
neat.
seen pictures of that one. I want to go do steamboat things at some point. But anyway,
there is one in Seattle.
We should do a
Is
trip to
there really?
Orleans.
Yeah, the Virginia V. Take a look in the VC text.
I didn't know we had a steamship in Seattle. That's cool.
Yep. I've ridden it twice this year. They keep trying to get me to volunteer for some reason.
That's
Wonder
fun.
why.
I'd have to go check that out one of the times I'm visiting families.
Our present CMO was the old CMO for the Virginia V.
Yeah.
Real quick, going back a couple minutes in the conversation, Ashley Taylor, she has to draw on part of her eyebrows thanks to 340, so...
That tracks. And yes, it looks like we have both of the Ashley Taylors in chat right here, right now,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. The worst backdrafter out there is 346 with the Ridgeway, though. Ask Leighton about that in a windstorm, because that whole cute shroud thing with the open front, it's just a funnel, like a literal funnel for air, and yeah.
Oh, I bet.
It's not great. Straight stacked engines do okay, but that thing, yeah. I've seen fire out the door to the tender, like 4 feet back.
I cannot wait to have her back with the Ridgeway.
It's neat, Choo-Choo. Well, we're excited to see her back, of course. Cork Guitar modern trains do just the same. They notice if heartbroken. I believe it. Hunter Gotchall, bullshit network service freight. Pretty much. That's fair. Pacific Productions, what's my favorite engine with snifters? Roller bearings, was built between 1951 and 1962, has a centered headlight, and was built by Alco or Baldwin. I don't know a locomotive that meets all of those criteria.
I was gonna say, was Alco building anything steam between those years?
I don't think so.
I don't know of anything
Or
that meets
Baldwin?
that criteria that I can think of. I'm sure there's a late Baldwin that would fit
There
that.
probably is a late Baldwin that fits that, but
I'm not aware of it. Shrug. Snifters, are you trying to get me to say Baldwin 60,000? When was that made? Probably not that late, though, was it?
I feel like
That was 60,000
locomotive.
No, it was 1926. So
Yeah,
this
was
is super late.
Wait, hold on. What's the question?
What is my favorite engine with snifters, roller bearings, built between 1951 and 1962, has a centered headlight, and was built by Alco or Baldwin?
Well, maybe. Okay. There might be one. The 280 at TVRM, U.S. Army 610. I don't know if it has roller bearings though. But it was built in 1952 by Baldwin Lima Hamilton.
An S160? Did those have roller bearings?
It's an S160A. It was supposed to be the Korean War version. Never got really mass produced.
Gotcha.
I do not know if it has roller bearings.
I don't think it does.
Looking at technical specifications. Of course, they don't say what kind of bearings they have. What else? What else is new? Shrug. I don't know if anything fits that category. Jacob Pfeiffer. BNSF. But it's not Santa Fe. That'd be Binsif, technically. I like Beansniff, personally. Anyway. Marcus Fusen, if you want to do River Steamships, Louisville has the Belle of Louisville. It's 107 years old. Cool. Panman 491, Olympic is best because it sank U-103, a U-boat. It also was the only Olympic class to not die horribly. I am aware of the deaths, of course, of the other two, but yeah.
Olympic just got scrapped. She had a good long life.
And then John Doe, whiskey is best ship because my family served on her. Cool. Pacific Productions, Hyce was trolling, LO. I was doing a bit, but we commit to bits here, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You should know that.
We're pretty sure that you were trolling because, yeah, I mean, built after 1952 and Baldwin makes that challenging. Anyway. Pre-asked questions. We have more of them. We have 21 more pages of them, so we're going to try and go. Yep, 2636 just has to let me know that his 66 GTO convertible fit on railroad tracks perfectly and used to cruise it on an abandoned rail line. I'm curious to know how you figured that out and if you did any modifications, but okay. From Smoke and Mirror, hey Hyce, considering you've given characterizations to the locomotives, 20 being the Angry Elf, 346 being an arsonist, and 491 being the USS Enterprise sailing in a mop bucket, do the passenger cars at the museum have individual characteristics given to them, i.e. the White Pass cars being constructed like soup cans, the Rio Grande coaches always creaking, etc.? But both of those statements are pretty true.
Both of those are correct.
Yeah, the White Pass cars, the construction of the White Pass cars, it's not great. We have redone the interiors of them now that we've redone them are actually really nice. And Dusty coordinated a lot of that stuff, and the newest one that we just turned out for this polar actually is really, really cool looking. But some of the exterior and some of the modifications to make them work for us make them a little goofy. Because the White Pass and Yukon use 3/4 couplers and the Rio Grande stuff doesn't. So we had to modify that. So there is a little bit of soup can and strangeness going on there. I think the biggest thing that people not named Goose run into with the other coaches is that the personality is headbanging. Because most everyone bangs their head on the chandeliers because they're low enough.
I still bang my heads on the decorations hanging off of them.
Fair enough.
How low are these decorations?
They're about the chandeliers are about 6 foot.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's a death sentence for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hit my head like 3 times.
It is
convention.
It is a 50-50 shot whether or not I bump my head while wearing steel toes on those. So it's around 6 foot.
I thought you were gonna go the other direction of talking shit about me with fire.
Oh, well, the stoves do have a taste for Goose's face and hands.
I was gonna say hand.
But yes. I specifically told a new brakeman trainee, hey, when you use the Boy Scout juice and you light the stove, wear gloves.
Yeah.
So that was funny. But anyway. Yeah, so there's a little bit of that. They're less characteristic than the engines, of course, because they're not powered, and that saves a lot of complexity, but they do have some of that. The second part of their question, what is the most annoying thing that you displease having to replace annually on any of the engines as part of their routine maintenance? Dusty's serving or fixing dinner up, so I will answer for Dusty. The check valves on RGS 20 screams.
Oh.
They have just been a royal pile this year, and they just get pissed. They chomp on something, they don't work, they're mad.
We've been having a lot of problems with the checks this year.
They've been pissed, and we've remachined them several times, and it's probably to the point that we need to make some new bodies and make some new valves, probably, if I had to guess. But
so what kind of checks do you use on a steam locomotive? Are they just ball checks, piston checks?
they're let me draw them for you in MS Paint, because they're stupid.
MS Paint time.
I don't think I probably have pictures somewhere, but I'd be looking through Google Photos forever for it. So
if you need valves, I know a guy.
Well, it's true, yes, and unfortunately, you're thinking like, yes, modern valves that are good, and these are 1899 valves that are bad. Anyway, so the check kind of looks like this in shape. You got a boiler over here. We're looking at it from the front, and then you basically have a flat machined seat here. and then you have a little guy that bumps against it that then goes down into here. And so the little guy from the top view is a flat seat like this, and then it's kind of like a pizza cheese off the box situation standoff thingy shape for strength, and then that is machined radially there so that it matches the contour of the inside of the body. And that's pretty much it. So it's a flat seat. No balls, no conicals, no spheres, no
balls.
goods.
Wait,
Yeah.
What is the actual obstructor?
Shit coming from the tender. If you have any fleck of garbage that is there in the water stream when this closes. Like this,
what actually makes it shut is what Jake
is this flat seat right here. That flat seat is this flat seat right there in the body. So that this is filled in like this. And then you have a connection to the pipe.
So does that lift up or does that swing?
It lifts up.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
it go up and then it go patunk with boiler pressure.
It is a weird fucking axial check. Got it.
Yes, it's called old and bad.
See, this is where you just keep the brass bulb and you just quietly shove a sprung ball check in front of it and call it a day.
I wouldn't want to put a spring-loaded check in there.
No, that could get gummed up with...
It would scale over, it would not do well, and as well, adding any extra resistance other than boiler pressure throws off the precise balance of, hey, I'm using boiler pressure and some speed to open boiler pressure. There's a reason why they've not been replaced. Anyway, that's definitely there. The biggest pain in the ass in terms of an annual thing, because the check valves are definitely done on an annual, but then definitely done a lot routinely because they're so stupid. At least at this point, I think they're probably partially worn. And then, of course, trainee firemen learning injectors have means of pissing them off a little bit more easily than others. The biggest annual pain in the ass is 491's throttle because 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Yeah.
I can pull up a picture for that because I do have a somewhat recent picture of 491's throttle open.
Probably hit top chest because there's a couple of interesting ones.
I got them. They're on my list. We're doing pre-asked questions right now. I'm in charge. We'll get to the top chats. We appreciate you guys as always, but I want to give the same kind of quality responses to both things. So here is 491's actual throttle valve. And here is the valve body inside the dome. This whole body has to come out every year so that we can do maintenance. It is secured by a really big U-bolt and then 2 bolts that are back here. And there's not space to swing a wrench over there. And the U-bolts is not ideal. And anytime you loosen or do anything, there's the risk of dropping it in the boiler forever. And this valve is so big that it does not come straight out. It has to come out all goofy. And yeah, it's a colossal pain in the ass. The space between the valve body and the actual sealing surface of the dome, and knowing that all of the pins for all the linkages and everything that actually actuates the throttle is directly underneath, that you must assemble like this around the valve. Yeah, I can only get one arm at a time about up to my elbow, and then I literally don't fit around it any further. So it's a joy. That's the biggest annual pain, so...
Were the people who designed this the same people who inspired today's modern-day car engineers?
The drunk fucks at Burnham shops?
That might have been Baldwin. I don't know. I don't know if they got new throttles when they became K37s.
So the drunk fucks at Baldwin. Cool.
Either one. It's a group of drunk fucks. All right. One more person's pre-asked questions, and then we'll get to the top chats, folks. From Yearly Gymnast 98. Hello, Professor Huber. I have a few queries that need your most respectable attention. There'd be a lot of long words in there. Anyway,
humble pirates.
As we all hopefully know, pound of rail varies across railroads and sections of alignment. How does a transition between a pound of rail, say track A, 100 pound, track B, 75 pound, and at the meeting point, how do they transition, and what does that look like for wheel sets when going over this transition? This is in a 101 video that I'm going to be doing in December, actually, which is going to have a really stupid title, but unfortunately, you guys hopefully understand the nature of YouTube at this point. Anyway, it's called a composition joint. They're special joint bars that shift over the smaller weight of rail, and they're designed specifically for two specific weights of rails, and they're each side is specially designed such that the head of the rail and the outside or the inside edge of the rail that the flange might hit is always smooth and continuous. And then they're cast to do that, basically. Long story short. Yeah. And then second one, and I assume that this is a misspelling of the word bogey, because it looks like bougie, but I'm assuming you mean bogey. What are the different styles of bogey used for freight service? What were their benefits and drawbacks? Secondly, what makes the AAR standard bogies good? Was it their standardization that made them the way they were? Or is there some specific aspects of these trucks that made them favorable over other designs? There's a lot of different types. Cast side frames, arch bar side frames, Bettendorf style side frames. I don't actually know what an AAR standard truck looks like. Can you tell I work on the narrow gauge? Oh, that's what an AAR standard truck frame looks like. Okay. The AAR standards are particularly good because it's standardized and set up for roller bearings, and it's cast and all the components are standardized, I would assume. I don't know if there's something else that influenced it, but it was the standard for everyone to use eventually at some point, and it has fewer parts than, say, a composite truck. That is, something that looks a little bit more like that. The composite trucks and arch bar style trucks that are fabbed out of multiple pieces have a lot more places where stuff can come loose and cause problems. And the cast side frame truck guys, complicated casting, yes, but at the same time, one piece. And therefore stronger, less interfaces. You kind of get the deal there. So that would be my assumption, though that is a fair amount of assumptions there. So, shrug. All right. Now back to the top chats, because yes, I see we have several. Thank you guys so much. Court Qatar. Bearings. Does 20 now have polar bearings? Okay.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes, it does technically have polar bearings at this moment, but they do not re-become roller bearings at any point. So, anyway. Jordan Freeman, the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise is your favorite steam-powered ship. Technically, it's nuclear-powered, but steam is used to power the turbine.
It's steam.
Yeah, it's a steam turbine, so yeah, and then electric, stuff happening, but cool. Ivy Kevlar, what is my favorite model train brand? You got your Schnabel car from Bachmann, so they're your favorite. I have one obvious answer, and it's my niche. It's my niche special answer. Duh, it's PBL. For all of your SN3 needs behind me. If you mean more like HO scale or something like that. I don't particularly have a genuine favorite. There's a lot of brands that make a lot of cool stuff, but I guess I tend to favor Broadway Limited. One, because they send me free trains, but two, because their stuff's actually really good too. So, anyway.
Broadway does good stuff.
Yeah, I really genuinely do enjoy their stuff. Oh, and Midland being a help. Look at that. Thank you, Midland. Yep. Midland got a picture of a comp joint in chat that I can show. So for Yearly Gymnast, here is one type of comp joint. Is that between 35 and 52 pound rail?
Nope, that is between
85 and 100 pound. Okay, yeah, I see that.
85 ASC and 100 PA or PB, I forget what.
I was trying to read the castings on the thing, ignoring the paint pen, which was a lot easier to understand. That's funny. But yeah, special setup to do that, and then you spike them in place, and it's just a normal joint bar other than that. Yep. So thank you, Midland. Appreciate that. Ben Jordan, hey Hyce, I messaged you on Instagram. I found you oddly enough after researching your grandpa for an upcoming video you're doing on his devices. Oh, well, shit. That's cool. I'm going to have to check a look and make sure I didn't miss your notification. Instagram has changed some of the pending messages now, and they're harder to find, and every now and again I'll be like, I should check that, and then there's a lot. So I'll double check. But thanks for reaching out. Thanks for the top chat, and I'm excited to see the video. That'll be fun. Matt G, my kids don't believe you're live. Say hi to Alex and Logan. Hi, Matt's kids, Alex and Logan. This is live. This is actually happening right here, right now. Yes, and Matt, thank you for being a conductor for 22 months. Yeah, none of my live streams are pre-recorded, so yeah.
This is totally not a recording.
This is This is not a robot. Yeah. Sometimes, like a YouTube premiere is pre-recorded, but I'll be live in the chat. And we haven't done a premiere in ages, but I haven't really had a video that merited one, so shrug. But anyway, do a flip. I can't do a flip. Have you seen me? Anyway, Pilot Pegasi, the drunk fucks at Baldwin strike again. Archa, carry on. Thank you so much, my friend. Okay, we've got a couple.
And for Tristan, PBL, the only folks who make SN3.
No. I mean, maybe right now, but it's fine.
What does SN3 stand for again?
Some, none, maybe 3. No, Wiseman Model Services made stuff. Sunset made some stuff. I don't think they've made stuff there for a while, but Leadville Designs actively makes stuff for SN3. So there's more than one SN3 brand, but PBL, of course, Grandpa's devices, as Ben Jordan talked about. They're obviously my favorite for a specific reason. So, anyway.
There's somebody on eBay who does like SN3 resin kits that they make.
I have seen those as well. And before anyone else sends me that other PBL 346 that's for sale on Facebook Marketplace, I've already seen it.
I wasn't going to send you that, but I found 2 passenger cars.
2 passenger cars?
Yeah.
Hi, all of us are equally broken. We have the same.
Send them to me. I probably shouldn't buy them, but still, send them to me. Anyway.
My wife is starting to get, like, train ads on Facebook Marketplace of all the train stuff for sale in the area.
That is hilarious.
It's a problem.
Oh, shit. No, not actual coaches, Midland. Oh, no. Oh, and these are expensive. Damn it.
This is what friends are for.
Oh, shit, these are expensive.
And the 256 used to be at the museum. Damn it. Okay. No, no, that's that. Oh, but it's, don't look at eBay, Mark. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't think of PayPal credit. Anyway.
I
closed the tab, Mark.
The tab's closed. The tab is closed.
Good thing Dusty's still muted.
Dusty's making dinner. He texted me and said he was going to be right back. So, anyway.
This is one of the places where you have to employ the Jake method.
Just put it over there. No. But yeah, coaches are like I do not have enough SN3 coaches, but I also don't have a layout yet, so I really don't need to be buying rolling stock. He says, surrounded by rolling stock. Anyway. Okay, from Jordan Freeman. Do I think a 3-foot Northern would have been possible? You know that some 42-inch gauge Northern exists in South Africa and New Zealand. Imagine it would be redesigned more for power than speed if it were built, something like a Reading T1. Also I know that the Southern Pacific GS class had some Eastern cousins courtesy of World War II. To help with the war effort, the Central Georgia purchased 8 copies of SP's GS2 class named the K class, nicknamed Big Apples. All of them were scrapped, except for a tender, which made it into preservation as it is Southern 4501's tender. That's all very cool. I did not know about East Coast varieties of GS2s. I knew that the Western Pacific also had a variety of, I think, GS5 or GS6, but similar in pattern. But that's cool, knowing that they had some East Coast sisters. But for a 3-foot Northern, I mean, anything was possible if they wanted to do it, right? I don't. They didn't happen because there never really was a need for something like that. And obviously the one proposal we had for the Grand was for a 482, and it really should have been a 284. The four-wheel lead truck, at least on the narrow gauge that we had that lasted long enough, was not super necessary in many cases. So the territory just didn't make it make sense. Could they have built one? Sure, of course. But the reason it didn't happen was because it didn't really make sense for the kind of traffic they were hauling in the territory they were hauling it over. So, good question, though. I'm back to pre-asked questions. We're going to go through a couple more, and then we're going to jump over to the top chats, folks. Highball5550, in light of it being polar, could I retell the story about 491 moving the track where she wanted it? I recall you telling the story in a video, but for the life of me, can't remember which one. Yeah, this is a fun one. This should honestly make a Stories from the Shop episode at some point, but this would have been 2015, I think. If Dusty was here, he would remember, but this was the Polar that Polar got very sad because our track, we'd been running 91 for a while, and the track was built and the loop was completed back in like 1999 or 2000 at the museum. And it was put together and it worked for 346 and it worked just great and just putting around, and all of a sudden we were doing all this operations and more trains and more trains and more trains and more trains, and the track gang were putting out fires as best as they could, but what really needed to happen was totally reballasting and raising and getting proper drainage of the track set up, which had not been set up, and we learned very quickly that it was necessary. You know how this works. If you don't do proper maintenance, it will schedule the maintenance for you, and that was what happened here. Where 491, at the top of the hill when she was working hard, up on the fill, a fill made largely of the dirt that was removed from the cut, and ash, and all sorts of soft things that got somewhat packed down, and not a whole lot of ballast in those days. It made it very easy for the track to move around a little bit. And 491, being the Queen Mary sailed in a bathtub, started moving the track that at a sharp point in the curvature already. It wasn't a super smooth curve. There was a short section of 28-degree curve already, and she just started moving that track on center over. Just kept moving it. And it ended up becoming such a kink that one night I was firing, and I remember sitting in the seat, and we're going around for Polar, and it just was like, we're going, and went, yoink! Like, we just turned on a dime, and it's like, it's not supposed to do that. And we reported it, and management at the time, the great Stromboli, came up to watch it. And so we walked 491 through the track, through that part, because we thought something was wrong. After the first trip, we're going to go put the train up and hide. We walk her up to it and start walking her through this curve as slow as possible, like less than a mile an hour. And he's got a flashlight on it watching it. And I have never seen the color leave someone's face so fast before. Literally goes from having, sweaty red in the face, whatever, to pure white, like, bang! And then turns and gives us the biggest stop signal of all time. And we stop. Both of us climbed down. I was firing. And we go look, and I wish I'd had a picture. I didn't have my phone on because we're in covered service. I wish I had a picture. But her pony wheel, the lead truck inside wheel, was like a good 8 or 9 inches off of the rail, picked up, because all of the suspension ran out of travel, and she was going around the curve like this, because it was so sharp at that point. It's like, oh, it's doing this every lap. We can't do this. She'd move the track. So we ended up doing the rest of that Polar season, shuttling back and forth on the lower half of the loop, because this part totally went out of service with this. And she ended up moving the track, I think it was 6 feet on center. So from where it was supposed to be, it was now 6 feet further over.
Jesus.
Which, yeah, not ideal. Made it one hell of a kink, and it really did not work. But there you go, Highball 5550. From John73 John, I might have addressed this already, but I didn't see it. I was wondering why the throttle on a diesel has notches, usually 8, and not just a continuous gradient. Seems like there'd be a lot of cases where notch 2 isn't enough, but notch 3 is too much, for example. There very much is many cases like that, and a lot of times in freight it really doesn't matter. And it comes from figuring out the early electronics of things and the way that engine speeds were set. They didn't necessarily have linear control over how quick the engines were running. They had discrete throttle solenoids that they were opening to give more fuel in the governors of the locomotives. A valve, B valve, C valve, and D valve. And notches 1 through 8 are just picking different combinations of those valves to get a certain amount of fuel to the engine to make it run faster. Obviously, with modern control and electronic fuel injection, it seems entirely reasonable to make it a continuous gradient, but this is the basis for everything MU connections and all that. They don't train line, hey, which throttle notch am I in? That's a lot of signals to do. They train line the throttle solenoids down the MU cables, and you get more redundancy that way and all that. So that's where that comes from. That said, some railroads that were pretty cool did some extra stuff where the Rio Grande actually had a rheostat built into the control stand on a lot of their power, and 5401 has this, where you could have a load dial down basically in any notch. So you could put the locomotive in run 8 and just slowly dial down the power until there was no power coming out, and you just sit there and bring it right up to the signal nice and smooth and perfectly. And I think that is such cool control, and I'm surprised more railroads didn't do that. So, anyway, great question.
Well, most of the early Alcos, particularly the switchers like the H8660s, the S1s, all that jazz, they did have graduated throttles. I just threw a picture of one in.
Oh, cool.
As did
But it does come down to mainly how the electronics on EMDs were set up, and then EMD kind of set the standard for everyone in regards to MU.
4's got a graduated throttle that basically has 3 notches, yeah. A lot of early stuff. I was broadly speaking about why we have what we have on modern day diesel electric. But yes, as always, there are exceptions to the rule. Yes.
It depends.
Yeah. So, but if I had to guess, with the combination of 14 air here and this graduated throttle, was this set up for MU? It might have been.
No.
But yeah. Yeah, that's where a lot of that comes from.
Exactly.
Cool
Anyway.
extra piece. For
Oh, go
everybody.
ahead. Yeah, Brill.
Doodle bugs and possibly some locomotives, but we're talking super early internal combustion stuff. Had separate throttle control for the internal combustion engine, and then a trolley car controller to feed power to the motors.
That's kind of like what the Rio Grande modified there with the load switch, basically. That's kind of the same principle. And that's honestly pretty cool, because it sets your maximum capacity and then you can dial it in. I honestly like that, but of course, more complexity, and it didn't really matter in some cases, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to scroll up and we're going to do some top chats, because it looks like several of them have come in here. Very much appreciate you guys, as always. Napford Master 98, please get in touch with Ben Jordan. He's an awesome music YouTuber that does crazy videos on interesting stuff. A crossover would be legendary. I saw he had a check mark, and I'm not familiar with his channel. But if he's been researching my granddad's stuff, I want to see what it's up about it. So, oh wow, yeah, he's got a crap ton more subs. He's a big kid YouTuber. I'm gonna have to check out his channel. If he does fun music niche topics and fun sound things, like, that's right up my alley. I'm kind of surprised I haven't bumped into him before. But I'm definitely going to check his Instagram message. Nathaniel Lombardi, do it. I assume this is in reference to the PBL coaches. Pilot Pegasi, poor broke lunatics, do that bad thing with $100. Now I'm really tempted. Full disclosure, that coach is like $500, but anyway. Thank you, Pilot Pegasi. I very much appreciate you. I'm trying to be somewhat responsible because I know I've got a big tax payment coming up, and then I still want to buy a house next year, and nickel and diming myself with model trains. As much fun as it is not smart, but we'll see. Who knows? Panman491, I'm fighting the urge to buy a Rapido mystery box, and I'm losing. Together we can be strong, perhaps. Or perhaps not. Anyway. Hunter Gotchall, Union Pacific is a better rail network, but I don't believe it's Rio Grande. That video is mostly for fun. It's they changed the name. It's the Union Pacific, but it's kind of the Rio Grande, but kind of the Union Pacific. It's not the original Union Pacific.
It's more like guidelines.
It's confusing, but yes. Anyway. Sam Manter, do I know any of the stories about Chicago standard gauge at the museum? Was it ever streamlined? You mean the 5629? It's partially, it's got like a quasi-streamlined pilot, I guess. Talking about CB&Q 5629. I don't believe it was ever fully streamlined.
I don't think anything on the Quincy was ever fully streamlined. Well, aside from the Zephyr.
Well, no, the Hudsons. Some of the Hudsons got streamlining.
Those are good-looking engines. But yeah, it has somewhat streamlined look with the way the pilot is, just totally sheathed like that. But I don't think they ever streamlined it. But it's such a cool choo-choo.
Big choo-choo.
Oh, I forgot about Aeolus.
Oh yeah, Aeolus. You know, the one from the 3/4 show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you, Bandan.
Did you ever direct my idea to stash the SS United States behind 5629 to upper management?
I did, and then they came back with a map of the SS United States overlaid over the museum and showed that we would have to buy more property because it's longer than we are.
Oh no, we have to buy more property.
Anyway. Jacob Pfeiffer, your favorite HO brands are Scale Trains and Athearn. Scale Trains make some really cool shit recently for diesel stuff. They make a lot of cool stuff. Broadway seemed to update their game lately, but specifically, their diesels specifically seem toyish. Their decoders and sounds weren't that good either. I've enjoyed the sounds on the Paragon 4 stuff. I've experienced a couple goofy things in terms of the controls in the DCC, but I also don't have a ton of runtime in them, so shrug. I know they do the stealth stuff, which makes a lot of sense for folks that want to put their own decoders in. But their Steam stuff is killer for me, so. Back home, gun, something. Your name's cut off. Thanks, YouTube. Opinion on 280 oil-fired steamers. We have one at the museum in work with, and we'd love to restore it after sitting 20 years. It's solid. It's an oil-burning 280. Huh. Pilot Pagasi, you'd rather contribute to House if it means Zuma can happen sooner. That's definitely a possibility. House, either via me or Brett, is going to make it happen sooner. And honest to God, Brett's probably going to be able to pull the trigger sooner than I can. But we'll see how that all works out. So
significantly closer on that front.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all turns out. But I very much appreciate you, and we want to
quote Brett from this weekend. God, I wish they'd hurry up.
Yep. 80 former. Had to pop out for a bit. How specific have we gotten with the favorite loco? By the way, favorite loco with a booster engine. 40 for 49. How specific have we gotten? Thankfully, we moved away from that topic maybe 30 minutes ago. And now you've brought it back. It's fine. Charlie Shepard, hey, Hyce, have I seen that Railroads Online added the Uinta Big Shit Chunker for the December 5 update? I did see that. They're adding that. And then the cute little 062s as well. Great. That'll be fun for the people who enjoy that game to play with. Good stuff. Okay. I've got some more pre-asked questions from Bricks Moses. This is a 4-parter, and each one's a paragraph. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I should probably request people keep it a little more concise. But anyway. Let's see. You've been wondering about these things after playing with model trains at your local club. What do conductor/dispatch calls really sound like? How formal are they? Is there a standard format for messages? Seems your club doesn't really have standards for that sort of stuff. Curious how real railroads do it. This seems like a thing that could make a fun full video as well as just an office hours answer. Probably could. I've never really listened in on actual radio calls between dispatch and train crews or been a part of that. We had guys at the shop, and I'd listen to the house movers and the train crews that would come in. There is some formality, but it's not much, honestly. I never listened to stuff to dispatch, so I can't really speak to that. But I would say significantly less formal than things like aviation dispatch and ATC and all that stuff, where it's very, very much monitored at a very high level, and even then, we still get the jokes and memes that come over radios here and there, at least on my Instagram feed. But
coming from that side of radio communications, radio is more of its own dialect, where there are ways to say things and specific words to use in place of what you would say in normal conversational English face-to-face. But you can still be relaxed, casual, have some fun with it. Like,
right.
It kind of ranges depending on how busy. And I'm assuming that this would carry over to railroad stuff too, whether you're in a busy yard or
for sure,
out in the middle of nowhere, where the level of formality and the expected
depends on how concise you need to be, because you're blocking anyone else from talking. So if you're at a busy terminal, it's got to be quick.
The level of conciseness that you're expected to have would very much depend on where you are, where you're operating.
Right. And we see that, and that seems to be the thing that governs radio things regardless, because the museum always ends up being slightly less, formal in its way over radio than we were at BNSF. Because at the end of the day, other people could be listening in, and there are a couple of requirements for the calls that need to be made. But it would always just be, something pretty simple. You'd hear the conductor call for the job, like job 219 would come in, and they'd request permission to enter in. We'd let them in, and you'd hear, okay, conductor to job 219, bring him ahead 20. Let's start with 20 cars, and go ahead. And they'd go, 10-ish cars, and you'd hear 219, 10 more, 219, 5 more, 219, 3, 2, 1. That'll do. You have to address who am I talking to every time, and that was the one thing that you'd hear. But that's about as formal as it gets. And if you're talking about a move, what direction you're going, how far, what it's to, you cover those things, and you cover who you're talking to, and that's the big requirement, more or less.
So, kind of following on with this, I see a specific message in chat, and this is going to become kind of career advice for anyone foreign looking to get a job in the U.S. Alex Kane says, do they have to use English? In the U.S., at least in aviation, and I would assume this again carries over to railroading.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yes, you have to use English. It is actually in the Airman Certification Standards that you have to be English proficient and use English on the radios.
Right. I mean,
and
that's
actually an international thing where you go over to Europe, and international flights in Europe, no matter what country they're to or from, you'll hear them speaking English because it's honestly at this point a common denominator language.
Right. Yeah. All right. Question number 2. Got a local that runs out from main yard to a small town and returns. There's no wire turntable in the small town. In the diesel era, running an engine set up for bidirectional running or a pair of engines back to back works fine, but how'd this work? In the steam era, was running an engine in reverse to pull a train over the main such a thing? Or would the engine have to run light or to nearby turnaround before returning? Or you'd just run it on the other side and run it tender first. You might have reduced speed depending on the type of locomotive, but hopefully you've got a locomotive that allows for good visibility in reverse in that kind of situation, and has a sprung buffer for the tender. If you don't have those two things, your travel in reverse will suck and you will do it slowly. But if that was the kind of job and there's no way to turn, that would be what they would do. Third part, train on the Dark Territory branch often has to double a particularly steep hill. It's the only train on the branch. How's the caboose supposed to be handled in that case? Does it need to be on the end of the train for both halves, just as if there are normal trains, or is leaving it to block the main at the bottom of the hill while we pulled up the first half sufficient? You just leave the caboose. You don't do extra switch moves. Like, trying to switch the caboose out to add it on, it is extra work, 1, and 2, leaving a set of markers lit saying, hey, there's something sitting here, is absolutely ideal. So you'd leave the caboose on the second cut. And then, sorry, go ahead, Goose.
Add on to that. Really, the caboose is more of an office than an end of train marker. Because an end of train marker kind of anything red. It could be flag, it could be marker lamps.
At night, it's got to be lamps.
Yeah.
And cars don't have grabs or places to hang lamps usually, at least freight cars. So if you're doubling a hill, you'd leave the caboose as the end. Yeah. And then the last one from Brooks. Sometimes I miss a line in the paperwork, fail to pick up or set out a car that I'm supposed to, and I get to the end of the run, realize my train doesn't have the cars paperwork says it should. Does that ever happen on the real railroads? Only on days that end in Y. What's the process and paperwork for dealing with it? Is this a big deal mistake or just something that happens sometimes? It's very much something that happens sometimes. It's reality. Is it a big deal mistake? Depends on how pissed the customer is. There have been definite moments of that. There was a story a train master in Pasco told me when we were going to our corporate brainwashing down at Fort Worth together. We're on the same flight somehow, and we're just chatting about all things railroading up in Washington, and they had a huge snowstorm hit Pasco, and they're trying to get trains moved around and dealing with this, and everyone's having trouble getting to work on time because the snow's so bad and the plows aren't there, and everyone's complaining about the city not plowing the roads and laying down ice melt and all that, and they kept complaining about it. Everyone got all mad. And they're spotting cars up and whatever, and they keep getting email messages about spotting this one boxcar, and it's high priority, and it was just one boxcar for the team track, so they didn't care. Fuck it, we don't need to spot. It's just one boxcar, we'll get to it. 3 days later, roads still haven't gotten ice melt, people still complaining, not getting there. They finally spot the car. There's people waiting as the car arrives. They open it up, and it's all the ice melt that the DOT ordered. So the customer was a little mad, and everyone went, "Oh shit, we should have looked up what was in that car." So that's very much just that's the railroad, man. That's the way it works.
Like a Pasco moment.
Yeah. I see we've got a couple top chats still. I want to try and get through most of this page of posted questions, and we'll get there. From Brendan Mazalski, this is a question about the buildup of scale in steam locomotives. Was the water that fed a locomotive's boiler demineralized? And if not, was there ever an issue with calcium carbonate and other such insoluble minerals building up outside the locomotive's boiler tubes, preventing heat transfer? Was this even an issue, and how did the railroad solve this problem? This is why we have the 31-day inspection. Let me find some pictures. Railroads have historically treated water for minerals. We have a water softener built in to our water tower. So our water is softened and it helps with that. And then we treat the water that goes in the boiler with a chemical that helps prevent buildup and helps keep it aqueous, rather, so that when you blow things down, the solids don't stick to the boiler, they get blown out. That said, not every railroad, and particularly historically, was that good about that. We're very fortunate we pull water from one or two places, either city water if we're in a pinch at the shop, or the water tower, which is our own well, which is really great water, and then we soften it. But you talk about the railroad, there's a lot of bad water districts that they'll have. That's why the Pennsy has those gigantic fucking tenders, because engineers would get written up if they had to take water at certain water tanks. Same thing on the Rio Grande. The lava water tank historically on the Cumbres and Toltec. It's been out of service forever, and the water is garbage there. And they had to have a report filed from the conductor about why the train had to stop for water at Lava Tank if they stopped there, because the water was so bad and it was so awful for the boilers. My favorite example of this is a locomotive that I saw that was a logging locomotive, where they would famously use a little steam engine to siphon water from rivers. That does really bad things to a boiler. This is Polson logging number 45. And yes, is there scale buildup? Yeah. Those tubes probably have at least a half-inch thick of scale on them.
Jeez.
Because those are 2-inch tubes. And they're like, you should be seeing a significantly larger gap between each tube. So yes, this is very much a problem. It's also why tube length is limited, because you can't have a mid-span support the tubes, because that would cause scale over and scaling over that stuff. Santa Fe tried it with slotted kind of mid-sheet tube sheets that then scaled over and prevented water transfer, let alone heat transfer. So you can't do those sorts of things. That's why tubes are limited to a certain length, etc. Absolutely a problem. So on the 31 day, you rinse out the boiler, you pull all the plugs, you try and blast all this crap out of there, and you hope that your chemical regimen is good enough to keep it easy enough to blast off with a fire hose, and by digging around there with rakes and sticks and whatever, and that you can break all this stuff off. But it really depends on what chemicals you're treating with. If you don't treat it, if you take water from the river, God help you. So, absolutely.
It's like a dental cleaning for a steam engine.
Yes, Jake.
Is that Polson locomotive, is that the closest we have to an actual fossilized locomotive?
Might be. Yeah, let's see. 1 second. Okay. Are you talking to your cat? You better be talking to your cat.
Yeah.
From Pika Blob, 2 very specific questions. We talked about the one polar animations when you top chatted it. Thank you. And then the second question was, what determines whether the cut lever connects to the bottom or the top of a coupler? Is it just whatever will fit on the car and locomotive, or is it something that changed over time? It's basically what fits best, whatever works best for the car itself. There are the same couplers that are top or bottom operated. It really doesn't make a huge difference. It's whatever makes the most sense in the envelope of all the moving parts. So you'll have both. So, okay. I now have when my stream needs to end-ish. We've got about 20 minutes, folks. So I'm going to finish this page, then we'll go to top chats, and we'll probably be getting out of here. But anyway, RazRG, hey, have I ever had an interesting job or problems with slugs? Those cut-up power/engines have fascinated you for some reason. Yeah, slugs are pieces of shit. Yes, always. Every time they were here, they had problems. A slug specifically is a prime moverless locomotive. The engine bay is full of concrete, literally. Fill it with concrete, run it on the yard. We had 2 slug sets that were captive that ended up coming to Interbay for service. The 1620/55, 55 being the slug, 1620 being the mother locomotive. And then the 1560 and the 60. And the 1620 and 55 spent a collective 3 months at the shop the one time in a row, dealing with all of its problems electrically. Because basically the engine, the prime mover in the 1620 ran its alternator, and then it fed all 12 traction motors. And whenever there was a ground fault problem in the slug, there was no way to detect it without going through and making everything, and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of troubleshooting. And then there were some low voltage ground issues which caused problems with the remote control system, so that the yard kept sending it back because the RCL wouldn't work. And so we had the technicians from Laird out for literal months. He lived out of Seattle and worked with us on it until we got the damn engine working again. Yeah, they were a problem every time. Transportation fan from California. 2 favorite questions. Oh boy. We have more specific favorites, and I'm going to punt them to Goose probably, because I don't know if I have favorites in this case. What is my favorite narrow gauge steam locomotive from Mexico?
Oh.
Are those Baker 460 outside frame dudes? Are those from Mexico? Are those NDM?
Yes, they are.
I would probably have to pick those because they're fucking kick-ass. But yeah.
They're kick-ass. For me, it would be between those, the Coelia Zacatecas engines, and the HRO ones. The
HRO one's cool. HRO one is cool. Yeah, the NDM had these outside frame 460s that have Baker valve gear. And they're 3-foot gauge.
They're so cool. Hold on.
The giant headlight is a vibe, but the rest mechanically the locomotive's cool.
MOWVC, Textum, getting a couple of them.
That is literally the picture I just showed on stream.
Oh, never mind. I didn't realize. My stream's behind.
Yeah. Neat choo-choos. Goofy choo-choos, but neat choo-choos. So, that.
Viva Mexico!
Yep, and what are my thoughts on Mexican narrow gauge in general? It's cool. They had cool shit. Yeah.
Cool as fuck.
No notes. I'm not a huge fan of the gigantic centered headlight. Like, it is a very particular look. It's not my preference, but it is defining of the place. So, all right, last pre-asked question from Ty Daly. Prepare your drinks, Mental Gen. I'm actually out of water. Single tier.
I can go get a margarita for both of us. Hold on.
Okay, go do. He says, "Hold on." Okay, we'll finish the stream with this question because it's funny. From Ty Daly, so we'll do that. But let me get these top chats here. Panman491 asks Corey Anderson if he'll help with Zuma. We're gonna be asking lots of people with that when we get there. Scale model appreciation. Hey Hyce, what's my Holy Grail model train? Yours an HO scale Virginian triplex. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Holy Grail model train. Honestly, it's kind of that one that I have right there. I really like it. Although I do kind of want a really big GS4 someday, but shrug. I have one in HO, but I originally was like, when I started doing the Lionel stuff, I was like, a Vision Line GS4 would be kind of cool. And then Brett and Leighton were like, but modules and friends. And I was like, but it's small. Okay, fine. But now I have a whole daylight set in HO because Joel's an enabler. Anyway.
Joel is an enabler.
Are you back? Good. Save him for now. We're going to finish the stream with that question because it's going to be silly. Anyway. Colonel Cactus, Class 1 conductor here. Yes, indeed. Qualified at that. The only time formality really matters if you're receiving some sort of clearance, such as to pass a red signal. That makes sense. Safety critical stuff. Alex Beck, would it be possible for a breakdown of private locomotive ownership? Keep being awesome. I now know Barney. I could ask him if he'd want to do a video. Obviously, he did that TV series, but yeah, we could go over it. I also know Dan Markoff, so we could do that. Private locomotive owners, how that works. Spoilers: buy locomotive, deal with transporting it, and getting agreements to run it places. Kind of that. But yeah. Panman491, at a threshing show many years ago, they had a water tower with a giant "do not drink." Turns out it was 100% pure water from a nuclear power plant. Water would kill you as it would pull the minerals from your body. Yikes.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. You're not supposed to drink distilled water, right? So.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Spent fuel pools in nuclear reactors you can't swim in them, but not for the reason you think. You can't swim in them not because it would contaminate you, but because you would contaminate it.
Interesting. Huh. I'd imagine swimming would be hard in that too, because it probably would presumably have no salt in it too, right? So it'd be like really fresh water. Yeah, like
kept so incredibly clean.
Yeah, so you'd sink very easily, more easily than other water anyway. But yeah, huh? Yeah, there's a reason it says "do not drink." Anyway, a person 723. What's my favorite Atlantic locomotive? The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Pennsylvania Railroad 7002, and that's a cool one. So there you go. Michelin Man 8592. If I wasn't so broke, I'd become a member. This is the best I can do for now. Awesome content as always. Thank you so much, my friend. Take care of you. Don't be broke for me. Just continue watching and enjoying. That's thanks enough for me. Thank you, my friend. Squidgy354 is the person that runs the water treatment program at their Touchstone Railway. I confirm that it's well worth the effort to get it right. Yes, very much so. It makes a huge difference. All right, that's the last of the top chats. And now we have the prepare your drinks, Mental Gen. Which is the best direction to put a locomotive into a roundhouse? And I have a really good answer to this. Right side up. Otherwise, I know that a number of railroads had different thoughts on whether to nose in or back in. We back ours in. Shrug. I don't really care.
I think it would very much depend on how the shop is set up and where the smoke jacks are.
You see, it would be smarter if everyone had a roundhouse like Great Northern's Inner Bay with high enough ceilings and then ceilings that pointed up to the middle exhaust portion so that you didn't need a smoke jack and you could have any locomotive positioned any way you want it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream, ladies and gents. I've got to run and do some things with the lady friend this evening, but guys, thank you so much for the great questions. Thank you so much for the love and support as always. Reminder, Cursed Train Stream Edition Part 5? Season 2 Part 5, I think?
I'm so pissed I'm gonna miss it.
Shrug is on Friday. So tune into that. I said 6:30. It might not be exactly 6:30 because I'm working the museum that day during the day. So we'll see. But before we get all the way out, I do see we have one last top chat coming in from Epoxy. Happy 18 months. Lost your job, looking for a new one now. I'm so sorry to hear that, my friend. It's not fun, particularly in this job market. What do I think of Metro rebuilding SD70s versus just buying something new from Siemens or Alstom? Is it just level 9000 foamer energy? No, new locomotives are expensive as fuck. And dealing with all of the new emissions things and maintenance practices, I understand why they're rebuilding stuff to keep stuff running rather than going through something new. So,
would you like to spend 4 to 10 million to potentially more per locomotive?
Right. So
yeah,
it's a business strategy thing.
There's a reason that so many airlines have not bought new aircraft and you're just kicking around the same old 737-700s, -800s, the old Airbus 320s, 321s. Like,
refits are cheaper than new ones.
Correct.
So, yep, that
goes for literally anything.
Literally anything in literally any industry. So, anyways, folks,
thank you. Repair, folks.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the love and support. We very much appreciate y'all. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you possibly tomorrow at Layton's and possibly tomorrow for Cursed Trains here live on YouTube. So, anyways, guys, peace. Bye.